right, we are more than 18 months into the Trump presidency, so we thought it would be a good time to check in with Trump voters to see how they're feeling today. I sat down with a panel of people from California, Texas, Ohio, and New York, all of whom voted for Donald Trump. At one time, these folks were all on the same side, excited about this outsider running for president. But as you'll see, times have changed, and today some feel very differently. So here now, our next Pulse of the People.
CNN is fake news.
How many of you are still just as excited today as you were on Election Day about President Trump?
Maybe more so.
And how many of you, the rest, would you say that you regret your votes? Raise your hands.
I'm disappointed.
Jeremy, what do you regret about your vote?
In my mind, and the way I look at him now, I think he's a monster. I think he's a bigot. I think that he's doing a lot of things to ruin people's lives. I don't think that I think that he's taking this country in the wrong direction, and it's a terrifying time for me.
Hold on, we haven't heard yet from Chris. Go ahead.
This is the problem with what the president is doing. He's able to divide us on these issues where we're now fighting amongst ourselves. You know, you look at Charlottesville, you look at the separation of the families on the border, you just look at the tweeting. I've never seen an individual who is so good at connecting with sort of average people that has no ability to really communicate or control the way he communicates.
I think it's disingenuous to say that President Trump is wholly responsible for the bifurcation that we see across party lines right now.
I want to apologize to the nation for my vote for him. It was the wrong thing to do. It was the biggest mistake I ever made. Like I said, he is a racist.
So, I take great offense to the fact that you felt the need to apologize on the behalf of the entire nation, because that also that says to me that you are invalidating the validity of my vote.
No,
and the reasons why I voted for Donald Trump is because, based on my perception of him, he is not a racist, and he has done so much. He has done so much for the black community.
How do you explain the tweet about LeBron James and Don Lemon?
That's right.
I watched that interview.
But he I mean, and the president has done this before. He's called people of color. He's called them ignorant. He's called them dumb.
He's called white people that too.
He says LeBron James is more stupid than Don Lemon. He goes after Don Lemon and LeBron James and Maxine Waters. How do you explain that?
When you call someone's intellect into question, it has nothing to do with race.
It has nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with race.
How many of you, show of hands, were comfortable with the president's performance in Helsinki? 3 of you.
Yes.
3 of you.
Yes.
3 of you.
Yes.
What bothers me more is that I think he's a suck up to Vladimir Putin, because I think obviously that country has something on him. Now, whether it's something legal, whether it's helping him get elected, whatever it is, he has something on this guy. So he's going to do whatever he can to include Russia to make us kind of maybe on the same level.
If you're going to say that you believe that Russia has something on Trump, given the language and the rhetoric around the mainstream media, and given the copious amounts of leaks that we've received all throughout this administration, do you not think that if there was something that was detrimental to President Trump's legitimacy or overall candidacy or fitness for office, do you not think that that would not have been leaked by now? Because we're almost 2 years into his first term.
He is single-handedly weakening our alliances overseas.
No.
He denuclearized North Korea.
How is North Korea nuclear?
North Korea because he met with Kim Jong-un. I thought that was an interesting point to end on.
Howdy, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of The Wright Brothers, episode 9. In fact, man, we are closing in on double digits, and we couldn't do it without all of y'all's wonderful, wonderful support. We are so happy to represent fine patriots like yourselves. Don't forget to help us share the good word that identity politics is dead. Click the subscribe button, share it. Also click the notification bell, because just the subscribe button, apparently it doesn't do anything to alert you for new videos. So click that Liberty bell, let freedom ring, and get the message out as well. So if you are not aware, one of our own, and I say one of our own, the only other one here, Mr. Damani Bryant Felder was invited on to CNN for their Pulse of the People panel this week. I'm sure many of you have seen the link, and it was a 2-part episode, so make sure you get both of those in your hopper if you haven't watched them yet. But an amazing experience. Obviously, it would not have happened without any of y'all. It was literally the Wright brothers videos that were out there floating around on the interwebs that caught their attention, and they brought Damani in to give his perspective on why he voted for Donald Trump and ask him to defend his position a little bit against others who ostensibly regretted their vote for Donald Trump. So Damani, I've never been to the CNN offices before. I've only been through the New York airport. So take us through a little bit of the experience and kind of give us your side of the story about how this whole thing got started.
Yeah, it was wild. Thanks, man. It was wild. Basically, I was just going through my normal day, and I received a message on Instagram, and it was from someone I wasn't connected with. So usually that means for me that it's someone else who has stumbled across my page and wants to give their thoughts on how egregiously I have misstepped in my life to date. So initially, I dismissed the message and figured I was just going to go ahead and go work out. But something told me just go ahead and open it just to see what it is, get it out of my system. So I opened it, and it was actually an employee from CNN, and she reached out to me and said that she had actually seen the Wright Brothers YouTube channel and our Facebook page, and she said that she was interested in pre-screening me for an interview, possibly to come on and be a panelist of 6 Trump supporters. So naturally, I leaped at the opportunity, and I answered in the affirmative. So what ensued was a good long phone conversation where I was asked my thoughts and my stances on relevant topics of the day. I assume just to indicate my level of engagedness with political current events. And after that time, I was told that if I was selected, that they would reach out to me. So the next day, next afternoon, they reached out to me and said that I had been selected to be a part of this panel. So naturally, at that point, I was effusive with my gratitude towards her, and I was also a little bit apprehensive though, because obviously this is CNN, and make no bones about it, we all know that CNN harbors great animus towards our president. Just a little bit of bias against. Just a little bit. So with that being said, I already knew that I was basically going to be venturing into a virtual lion's den. So they flew me up on Sunday, a few days back, and what they wanted to do was put me up in a hotel, and then they wanted me to go film the next day at their studios in New York City. So I went, and I was still apprehensive, but what I did before, what we talk about all the time on this channel, is our due diligence. So I wanted to make sure that if I'm going to speak on behalf of Trump Nation, I want to make sure that I represent y'all in the best possible light and carry myself in a way that is going to really fly in the face of the negativity we typically receive as that of being unprepared or unlearned or hateful. So I wanted to go in and do my due diligence. So I had 2 pages of notes that I pinned myself on relevant topics of the day, just at the ready, just in case. So I showed up there at the studio Monday morning, and they took me into the makeup, the green room, if you will. And then it was time to go live. So we sit there, and the cameras are about to start rolling, and I'm just literally at a loss for words at that point, because being there in that forum was so surreal. But still, I knew that I had a mission to carry out, and it wasn't something I took lightly. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna jump in right here, because anyone who's seen the video can probably tell that ostensibly, like I said, the panel was supposed to be made up of 3 Trump voters who do not regret their vote and 3 Trump voters who do regret their vote. And if you look a little bit at the body language, not that we'd accuse the veritable CNN of any sort of foul play, of course, but if you looked at a little bit of the reactions and the rhetoric coming from a few of the ostensible Trump voters, you couldn't help but get the sense that maybe some of them were not as genuine as they were made out to be, and you honestly heard a lot of the same talking points from them that you hear from leftists today, and the usual fare that you would expect to see
from CNN, and of course we saw how the video was edited, and even the tagline for part one was Trump voter says Trump is a monster. So we, like you said, we know what sort of a deal this was going in. But what was your feel being in that room, fielding those questions? What sense did you get from your fellow panelists about who was maybe not as straight and narrow with their vote as some others, and what did you glean from them as far as who was being truly genuine in their responses?
Right. So we had a chance to interact in the green room just before we went to start filming, and what I'll say is that what I did notice was there seems to be a proclivity to regurgitate or become completely fascinated with the talking points of the network in question. And when I saw that, I was taken aback to a degree, but I was also prepared to handle any dissenting arguments that may have come my way. So when it came time to actually go live and speak, and obviously I knew that there were going to be some gotcha questions. What you see in the panel is some of the people, they seem to are overly argumentative and they wanted to get their voice out, and I completely understand that. I did as well. But what I also wanted to do was, obviously in the spirit of representing all of Trump Nation, I realized that it may not have been the best tact to take to be so instantly combative and aggressive, especially towards the anchor. So what you'll see sometimes is me just sitting back. I might look at someone a certain way or nod my head in the affirmative, but I was not one to engage right away in a heightened sense, because I didn't want to come across as overtly vitriolic or just overtly combative. So, but when my time came, I felt prepared to be able to speak with aplomb and with conviction, because there's so much emotion around Donald Trump that I feel like sometimes the overall message of why you voted for him and why you support him is honestly kind of lost in just the back and forth. Oh, you're an idiot. No, you're an idiot. And I didn't want to engage in that forum, in that type of verbal pugilism, if you will. So I chose to wait my turn, and then when my time came, though, I wanted to make sure it actually counted. So much of what I said actually was edited, and there was a lot that I actually was able to say that didn't make the final cut, and that's okay, though, because I knew that if I just maintained a certain tone and maintained my message and stayed on message and maintained my composure most of all, I felt that would speak more volumes than me trying to shout down other people. So we recorded for an hour, and the segments are two parts. One is about 7 minutes. The other one has yet to be released. It will be released tomorrow morning on Wednesday. But what I learned from it all was that basically I saw visible body language from the anchor and other people when certain points were brought up, and I knew that they were trying to lay a trap, basically. I mean, it was up to me, and it's up to all of us, honestly, as people who are supporters of Donald Trump, to really think and consider before we speak, because people already have a negative idea of who we are. It's up to us to change that. Sometimes the best way is just to be as researched and knowledgeable and overall calm as possible. Because you notice the rhetoric on the other side, it's all about emotions. It's all about just being enraged, or Donald Trump said this, or I'm so mad about this, or I'm so mad about that. What's most important is just to remain calm, because as the saying goes, cooler heads prevail. So that was my experience at CNN. It was eye-opening. I don't think I'll be invited back, and you know what? That's fine with me, because it's not about that. But I was honored that they gave me the platform, but I also realized I need to take this very seriously, because this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I had to go and make the most of it. So I hope you enjoyed it. We'll go ahead and post the link, actually, to the full video segments down below, so y'all take a look if you haven't already. But it was just an incredible experience, and it's just a testament. They found us through this movement, which we started 7 weeks ago, and it's only because of all of y'all that we were able to move this far. And who knows where the limit is for us as far as the ceiling is concerned. So we appreciate y'all. This is a testament to what y'all can do, and we just ask that you continue to keep it up by sharing our content, share what we have. We actually have a new moniker for our supporters. We call it the Tribe. Obviously, the Wright brothers alliterated is TRB. So we threw an I in there and we threw an E in there because that's what y'all's sense of community. That's what y'all are. Y'all are extremely important to us. We couldn't do this without you, and without all your support these last 7 weeks, who knows where we would be. So we just want to give our gratitude to y'all and say that we just are overwhelmed with appreciation for the reception this channel is taking. And we know there's going to be negativity. That's fine. And we actually will address negativity specifically in later videos. But what we want to do right now is just share what the experience was like, because it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. And I wanted to make sure that I kind of gave you all a peek behind the tent of what all went down behind the scenes, so y'all could see exactly how they run things over there at CNN. So, do you have any final words?
And yeah, well, I mean, that in and of itself would have been an experience to cap off an amazing week. But as our followers know, as the tribe knows, I guess it is now, our father, Dr. Felder, he was on another news network on Fox News, standing right behind President Trump at the Wilkes-Barre presidential rally up there last week. So it's really been an incredible week as far as media exposure. But at the end of the day, like Damani said, it's not about exposure. It's not about fame. It's not about any sort of cash grabs. We don't get paid for any of this. This is something that we do because we're passionate about, and out of the love that we have for honest conversation about political issues and for speaking truth where we see fit. So shout out to our dad, Dr. Felder. He's doing great things up there in Pennsylvania. He's only been up there for like a little over a month, and he's already making waves. So I mean, that's our dad for you. That's where we get it from, if anybody's wondering. But anyway, like Damani said, shout out to all of y'all in the tribe. We really appreciate it. Can't do any of this without you. Also, shout out to my buddies over there on the TigerDroppings.com polyboard. I know that y'all have been big supporters of ours from Jump Street, and we appreciate every bit. Even if y'all are LSU Tigers, we love y'all.
Right.
But anyway, like we said, check us out on the YouTube channel. Check us out on Facebook. Type in at the Wright Brothers IPID, of course, standing for Identity Politics is Dead. Give us a like. You can participate in polls, see various articles that we'll post on current events. Get sneak peeks of behind the scenes of upcoming videos, and generally be able to hobnob with the rest of y'all, because like I said, we're just the faces, but y'all are the force behind everything that we do. So from all of us at the Wright Brothers, we appreciate it. Thanks and gig 'em.
Thanks and gig 'em.
The first revolution is when you change your mind about how you look at things and see that there might be another way to look at it that you have not been shown. The revolution will not be televised, There'll be no rerun, brothers and sisters. The revolution will be live.